What's up, potty people, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're doing a good old-fashioned try on Ulta haul. So before this whole virus pandemic outbreak happened, I went to Ulta and I kind of went ham because it's my birthday month and they have like really good coupons for like your birthday month that I didn't know about. Apparently it's a brand new thing, so I went ham. But yeah, I just want to sit down and play in makeup and just take my mind off things. I just want to relax, and I feel like everyone kind of needs an escape right now. Like everyone needs a safe haven and also just something to do. I actually saw a comment on Twitter that really rubbed me the wrong way. It got under my skin. This girl said, "I can't believe that beauty vloggers are continuing business as usual and still uploading." What else are we supposed to do? It's not a beauty influencer or a beauty vlogger's authority or place to just report on the health crisis right now. Like, people expect way too much out of beauty vloggers. I'm 34 weeks pregnant, I'm burning the hell up right now, I'm super stressed out, and I just need to escape and go to my happy place, okay? And my happy place is makeup. But yeah, if you like videos like this where we just sit down and play in some new makeup, then make sure you give it a thumbs up if you want to see more. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and turn that notification bell on to always see my videos. And without further ado, let's dive into some new Ulta makeup. So the first thing I have is this new e.l.f. Putty Primer. And I was actually shocked to see this at Ulta. This is the Putty Eye Primer in the shade Cream. So I'm pretty sure this is just supposed to be like the MAC Paint Pots. Yeah, it literally looks just like Soft Ogre from Paint Pot. And again, I need to get my hands on that. I really want to put that in my next like upcoming like dupes video or something. But whenever I swatch it, it's not super pigmented. Like, it's not as pigmented and opaque as some of the other paint pot dupes that I've tried. I mean, it definitely is concealing. I am having to build it up just a little bit, but I have tried some concealing eye primers that are just too pigmented. Like, if you don't want to put on eyeshadow and you just want to stick to like eyeliner or just mascara, and you just want to just kind of cancel everything on your eyelids just to make it look, you know, more bright. There's some that just look too harsh, like just too much. Like, it just looks unnaturally concealed. So I will say this one looks very natural. It just looks like my eyelids are just nice and even. And then I also have this BH Cosmetics Smitten in Switzerland palette. So I believe this is new. And I really love the BH eyeshadow formula. I feel like their eyeshadow formula is just top notch. Like, it is so buttery and pigmented and easy to work with, but I don't really always like their palettes. Like, I feel like their palettes can be kind of mismatched. Like, the color stories just don't really speak to me. But I swatched this one, and this one, it just looked kind of different. And I mean, looking at it from afar, it doesn't really speak to me, but whenever I swatched it, I was just like, ooh, I can make that work. So yeah, you got some rosy tones in here. You got some greens, some blues, some smoky tones. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go into this matte ivory shade down here and use this to set my eye primer. I will say that primer is kind of bunching up around my lash line underneath that shadow. So I don't know if that's a good sign. It may be too oily. And I'm gonna go into this shade right here called Fondue, which is just a matte, like, I don't know, slightly, like maybe like one shade up from my skin tone top shade. I just want to try to use as much as possible. You guys know the drill. You know what? I actually feel like being a little more precise today. So I'm going to go into my e.l.f. Line and Define Eye Tape and just try to, I don't know, be clean. I've always admired people that can do that really sharp edge and like kind of flick their eyeshadow upward on the outer edge, like to where it just looks more uplifted, like without eye tape or anything like that. Like, I just can't do it. It's just not in my abilities. I don't know if it's where my eyes are just naturally more downturned and I just kind of want to follow that trail, but I just have the hardest time doing that. So now I'm gonna go into, hopefully I'm not making a mistake by doing this, but I'm gonna go into this mustard shade down here. I'm kind of wanting to play with the olive greens in the palette, so the olive green shimmer has like a yellowish undertone to it, so I'm hoping that kind of pairs well together. Honestly, I don't really know why this mustard shade's in here, because honestly it doesn't really match anything in the palette. Like I said, that olive green has a slight yellowish undertone to it, but even then, that's only one shade. Like I said, I just feel like BH it's kind of all over the place sometimes with their color stories. So now I go into this matte army green shade right here called Slope and put that in my outer V. This is a very grayish army green, which I guess that's what army green is. But yeah, I probably wouldn't do that mustardy orange shade in the crease. I would probably just stick to making this more of like a neutral look if I had to go back. So yeah, I'm just really not digging that mustard orange up there. I just feel like it's too many conflicting tones. I feel like we've got the cool tone aspect of the army green and then that warmth of the mustard orange. It's just not, it's just kind of clashing. So I'm actually going to go back into that first shade that we used as a transition shade and just kind of reboot that in the crease and maybe try to cover up that mustard orange. Okay, so that kind of like toned it down and kind of neutralized it a little bit. But now I'm going to go in and just kind of intensify that green and go into this foresty green. It's called Mountain. It's also matte. I'm just going to put this right on top, but with each shade that I go into, I'm going lower and lower. So I'm not bringing this as high as that first green shade, but I'm gonna bring this a little bit further in. So maybe this is becoming too much of like a no-brainer for me. Like I'm not really thinking outside the box too much, but I'm just gonna go into this shimmery yellowish gold green now and just put that on my eyelid. I don't know, like I'm just not in the headspace to do something super extravagant right now. I'm very simple-minded, okay? I'm very simple-minded. Yeah, I'm gonna get this on a flat brush and I'm gonna spray it so it looks all nice and shiny and whatnot, and just put this all over the eyelid. So for brow bone highlight, I'm gonna go back into that matte ivory shade that we used to set our primer and just clean everything up a little bit. I'm actually gonna mix it in with a little bit of that shade right next door to it. It's just a more toned down version of that transition shade that we had. So there's nothing really in here that I want to use as my inner corner highlights. I'm just gonna use my facial highlighter later, but yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into this matte black in here and use that as our eyeliner. It looks super rich, so I have high hopes. It's not as jet black as I thought it would be. Like I figured it'd be super pigmented and like just like, ooh, the best matte black ever, but it's more on the sheer side. That was okay. It wasn't exactly what I expected. So maybe let's try to be a little bit different. Let's go into this shimmery blue and let's put that on top of the matte black as our eyeliner, and let's just see what it do. It may be really fun. It may look like a train wreck. I don't know. We're just playing. I'm just gonna top that black right off and just add a, I don't know, just a hint of color. Okay, subtle, but different. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off my eye tape. There's a lot of fallout with these eyeshadows. So yeah, they're super pigmented and really buttery and soft, and that can result in a lot of fallout. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that up, and then we're gonna move on to some more products. So moving on to some brows. So I have this Revolution Pro Brow Volume and Sculpt Gel. This is just an eyebrow gel with a little bit of pigment. This is from the Makeup Revolution's extension line. Let's go ahead and see what this does. Hopefully it doesn't provide too much grip, like to the point where it feels like glue, but I hope it does give a good amount of color. I mean, there definitely are some sparse areas, but there's gonna be. I mean, that's what a brow pencil's for. But I mean, to just throw this in, if you just want a little bit of color and just some definition, and just to kind of like lay your brow hairs up so it makes your whole face look more defined, like not defined, but it just makes your eyes look more open whenever you brush your hairs up, then this seems like it'd be a really good option. So we'll see how this dries. It's actually pretty blonde. Like this is what I would consider to be more of like a taupey shade. So I have this NYX High Glass Face Primer. So they have this new line that's supposed to give you that glass skin. And I actually bought almost everything from the line, even right down to the foundation, which I was gonna do a separate video on, which I still may do, but just because it's new and it's from Ulta, we'll just go ahead and throw it in here as well. But yeah, very, very nice packaging. I think this was like $16 or $17 though. A little expensive, and I haven't really been into primers lately, but I did swatch this on my hand and it gave a really, really pretty glow. I don't know, lately I've just felt like primers are kind of useless, and I feel like if you have a good skin prep routine and you're properly moisturized and stuff, you don't really need a primer. I mean, unless you're looking for like a certain effect, but even then, like this is a really pretty glowy finish, but you know, most of the time it doesn't actually pull through the foundation. It's just too subtle for that. But I should actually show you what it looks like. Here's what it looks like. It has this really pretty like champagne tone. And I feel like I got, yeah, they actually have shades. They have a lighter shade, I think it's called Moon Quartz or something like that. And then they have Rose Quartz, which is what I have, which is a second shade. I just thought it'd give me a little bit of color. Then they have one that's like a coppery shade as well. But they all looked really, really pretty when I swatched them. So yeah, very pretty. So we'll see how that wears. So now moving on to the NYX Born to Glow Naturally Radiant Foundation. So I have the shade Vanilla. This is a really, really pretty glowy foundation. I have oily skin, by the way. I typically get, you know, more oily than my T-zone, but I'm actually pretty balanced. Like I don't get super shiny or anything, but this is one of those glowy foundations that I can actually wear that doesn't make me shiny, which is very hard to come by. I'm gonna apply it with this new Real Techniques Light Layer Complexion Brush. So yeah, it just looks like a stippling brush, but looks like one of those brushes that you could use for so many different things, like foundation, cream foundation, bronzer, you know, any kind of liquid or cream product. It just looks like it'd be really nice for that. So let's go ahead and squeeze some of this out on my hand. So yeah, the foundation is more on the runny side, but it's kind of like a medium texture. It's not super thick or super runny. Yeah, the only thing about stippling brushes like this is that if you have too much product, then it kind of starts doing what it's doing over here where you can see streaks and stuff. So you have to like literally apply a very light layer. So maybe that's why it's called the Light Layer Complexion Brush. I don't know. Because yeah, on this side, I'm not using very much product. Like I'm just using whatever's left over from this side. And it's blending out a lot better and a lot faster. And I mean, on this side, where I start off with more, it's blending in, it just takes more work. All right, so I'm back with the foundation done, and I also went off camera and did my mascara, and I filled in my brows very, very lightly with my Maybelline brow pencil. Literally, I just like underlined them and then filled in the inner portion just a tad bit, but the majority of the work and color and definition is from the brow gel, which I'm actually really digging. Yeah, here's what the foundation looks like after about 10 to 15 minutes of just sitting here. So it definitely does uphold that really natural glowy finish, but it doesn't look greasy or shiny glowy. Like, it just looks so naturally radiant. But I will say with that foundation brush, this is definitely made for a very light amount of foundation. So if you're someone like me that likes to build it up, or if you like full coverage, then this may not be the best brush for that, just because it does leave some stroke marks behind. So I'm gonna go in my sponge. I did go dampen a sponge. I'm just gonna press the foundation in a little bit, but as you can see, like, it covered up almost everything on my face. Like, I would say it's like a medium to full coverage. I didn't really build it up a whole lot. I don't really see a big difference between the foundation like by itself without primer versus with the high glass primer underneath. So I'm just gonna keep testing this. Primer is one of those things I have to test with a lot of different variables, but the foundation is looking and sitting really, really nicely, and it just looks so pregnancy glow, like fake pregnancy glow. So moving on to concealer. So I also have this NYX Born to Glow Radiant Concealer. So I haven't tried this at all. This comes in a tube. I don't know what kind of applicator. Okay, so yeah, it comes with a little sponge tip applicator like this. And I have the shade, what is the shade? Pale. What a complimentary shade name. I'm just gonna put a little bit, maybe I should shake it up a little bit, just, you know, do a little squeezing, just getting all the juices flowing. Let's just, oh, that's light. Let's just do a dot here and a dot there, because that's a lot of product. So it's spreading and blending out really, really well. You guys saw I only used like 2 dots on each side, and it covered up my entire under eye area. And I also have some left over to go down the center of my face. So I would say medium coverage. Like, it's definitely not full coverage. I mean, maybe we should just try to build it up a little bit more right there. I mean, I've got a crap ton on the sponge. I will say it feels very thin, like it's not a thick concealer at all. So I have another Revolution Pro product. So this is the Revolution Pro Sculpt and Glow Contour and Highlighting Palette, and I got the shade Desert Sky, which I believe is a light. It's for a light skin tone. So in this, you have a contour powder, which I'm typically not into contour powders. Like, I really haven't contoured my face in years. Like, I really just stick to bronzing and just adding warmth and dimension in that way. But I'm never gonna be able to open it. This is too much strain on a pregnant woman. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I just need to like lightly just. I did swatch these in the store and was super impressed. So here's what those shades look like. So yeah, the highlighter looks very natural. So I'm actually excited to see how that looks on the skin, because I've really been into a natural highlight. I haven't contoured in a long time. And I also haven't contoured straight on top of foundation that hasn't been set yet. So hopefully you don't get any kind of transfer or movement, but let's just go back here. Like, usually I like to stipple, but I don't know, maybe I should apply a little bit of setting powder first. Let's go ahead and do that. But because I do want to do more dragging motions down here, I'm going to go ahead and set right there. I'm not really going to even worry about my cheek area. So let's go back here. It actually looks more warm on the skin. Okay, so I'm actually going to try it using my normal bronzing brush. And if we want more of that sculpted look, we'll go in and chisel with that smaller brush. I don't know, like, it just looks kind of uneven and patchy. Yeah, it just kind of looks muddy or something. I don't really like that. So moving into some blush. So I have this Revolution Blusher Reloaded in the shade Rose Kiss, and I've been eyeballing these for a while just because it looks so like wavy and like oceany and just beautiful. So here's what this shade looks like. It may be too much for the eye look that I have today, but it looks like one of those shades that is kind of scary and intimidating whenever you first swatch it and like whenever you look at it in the pan, but I think it'll be like a really pretty like flushy tone. I'm just gonna stipple this onto my cheek area. What is happening right now? Is it the foundation where it's not completely set? Like, I haven't set every square inch and it's a glowy finish? Like, is it the product? Is it the, I don't know what's happening right now. Look how patchy and uneven that looks though. Like, So for now, I'm not gonna deem these complete fails because I just feel like I need to test them with more products. So I'm just gonna set them over here. So moving on to some setting powder, which I really need right now. Actually, this is a finishing powder. So this is like the finishing touch, like after your setting powder like just to give you like a veil. So this is the NYX High Glass Finishing Powder. So this is part of their like glass skin line, and they act like 3 steps to glass skin, and it's this and the highlighter and the primer and all that stuff. So yeah, here's what this looks like. This was a freaking biatch to open. It took everything in my strength to get this open, but yeah, here's what it looks like whenever you swatch it. So it just looks like a really pretty glowy powder. So I feel like if you have dry skin, ooh, this would be so nice. But it does have a slight bit of shimmer to it, which kind of worries me as a powder. Like it may be, I don't know, too frosty. Maybe I should go ahead and set my under eye area with a normal setting powder first. I have been using my Yo Twin Powder Puff to set my under eye, but I don't really want a heavy amount just because I will be applying 2 layers of like a different setting powder. So I'm just gonna set very lightly with a brush, and let's see how this looks as a finishing powder. So let's just start right here. Oh, okay, I see some glow. I'm just afraid that this might have too much shimmer and frost to be used as a finishing powder on my skin. Like I have a lot of pores and stuff and a lot of blemishes and texture, so I just don't know if this would be the best for me. But if you're someone that has really dry skin and you just like just an added glow, but honestly I'm kind of leaning towards recommending this more for like a really light highlighter. Let's try it as a highlighter. Let's like actually apply the way I would a highlighter up here on my cheekbones. So yeah, it's very, very subtle, but it could definitely be a highlighter. So I'm gonna go back in with that brush that I use for my normal setting powder and just kind of go over the areas in my T-zone where I have larger pores and just kind of take away some of that frost. I have another product from NYX from that High Glass line. This is the illuminating powder in the shade Moon Glow. Let me try to pry this open with the jaws of life. Let's see. Easy. Okay, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Ow! Shout out to all you people that are opening up the actual products and not using the testers, because this is the result of you. It's called an illuminating powder, but it's actually a cream. So here's what the shade looks like. It's a really pretty champagne tone. I mean, very, very common, but I've learned to not take advantage of just the basic highlighter shades because they always work out better. So yeah, in the store, like the combination of the finishing powder and the primer and this was beautiful on my hand anyway. But yeah, it kind of has like a putty feeling. A little bit does go a very, very long way. Like it's going up into my freaking temple up there. So yeah, very pretty. Does give a very natural glowiness. I do feel like it would look a lot prettier and a lot better if I didn't have setting powder underneath. But like I said, I planned on applying it the way I would a powder highlighter with like a fan brush. But yeah, that's actually really pretty. So now for lips, before I move into like my lower lash line and stuff, which I think I'm gonna do off camera. But I have this new lip liner from Revolution. This is the Satin Kiss lip liner in the shade Chauffeur. And these are definitely putting me in mind of the Charlotte Tilbury iconic lip liners. I don't have those, but like I've seen swatches and stuff, but like just the packaging, that's definitely what it's trying to be. So here's what this shade looks like. Like I don't really know how to describe it. It's kind of like a mid-toned rosy nude, like a mid to deep tone rosy nude. Okay, so that shade is super pretty and the formula is very creamy. It just glided on, and yeah, it's like my favorite type of formula, so hopefully it actually wears well. So I actually do have some lipsticks, and I didn't get them from Ulta, but they were sent to me in PR, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna be available at Ulta, so we're just gonna go ahead and use them, just test them out. So this is the new Revlon Super Lustrous Matte Lipstick, and I have the shade Untold Stories. I have the entire collection, but this shade, oh my God. It just looks like it's such a pretty nude, and it looks like it'd pair really, really well with that lip liner. So let's just go ahead and use this. Be nice if I didn't have foundation caked in my lip lines. Oh my God, that shade is so pretty. That is such a pretty nude. Ooh. So I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera and do my lower lash line, so I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back with the finished look. So I do want to do a brief little rundown of what I liked versus what I didn't like. But let's see, as far as what I didn't like, honestly, there wasn't really anything I tried that I just flat out didn't like and found no redeeming qualities in at all. I mean, the palette is kind of iffy for me because like I do love the formula, but the combination and just the color story is kind of off for me. So I mean, you could see this and like think of 15 different looks that you could create with it, but for me, it's a little too different, and it's just a little bit too all over the place. The e.l.f. Putty Primer, I'm kind of on the fence about because I did like the color of it and it doesn't seem to be too drying, but whenever I started putting eyeshadow on, it did start like moving around, and it almost looked like like it just wasn't meshing well with the oils in my eyelids. Like maybe my eyelids are just too oily for this formula. I'm not really sure, so I will have to keep playing around with that as well. And then the Revolution Sculpt and Glow, and then the blush. I don't know why the issues that I saw today were happening. I don't know if it's the products or the foundation. I'm not sure. So I will keep using these with different products and, you know, testing different factors. So they're not complete duds yet. And then the NYX High Glass Finishing Powder, I'm just kind of on the fence about. I don't think I like it as a finishing powder on my skin. I feel like it's just too frosty. But as a highlighter, I feel like there's a lot of potential because I feel like this would be a really pretty, subtle, lit from within glow, natural kind of highlight. So yeah, if you guys have tried any of these products, then leave your review in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And I will see you guys in my next one. Mwah.